Has South Africa gone completely mad? I know that we all have to be a little bit mad to live in South Africa, and we get a lot of sun. And when you've got a hairstyle like mine, maybe you get too much sun. But I think this country has gone absolutely mad. Let's just have a look at the news at the moment. We have an election last year, and the voters send a very, very strong message to just about every party. Get sent a strong message one way or another. And just have a look at some of the responses that the parties have given to the messages that were sent. The biggest message that gets sent last year was to the ANC, that lose their 30-year-old stranglehold on the majority of voters in South Africa, on leading the country. At one point, they had nearly 70% of the vote. Gradually, their support goes down. If you track it on a graph, it's almost identical to the loss of support is almost identical to the unemployment rate. People tell the ANC, we need jobs. What do the ANC go and do? They get into the government of national unity, which is meant to grow the economy. They stop every attempt to grow the economy. Not one idea from the partner parties in the government of national unity gets considered. And our unemployment rate and our growth rate, economic growth rate, just keeps on going down. This is after voters have said this is their biggest issue, they need jobs. The ANC will not let them get jobs. Research comes out that puts the ANC in the latest poll down at 32% support. But still, they will not respond to the problem of the economy. Then we get into the most stupid fight, the most avoidable fight with the United States of America, the biggest economy in the world, and South Africa's biggest export destination. Yes, we sell a lot of raw materials to China. That is stuff you dig out the ground, put on a truck because the trains don't go, goes down to the shipyard and goes off to China. America takes our agriculture, takes a range of products, cars, etc., stuff that employs people. We've got a preferential trade agreement with the US, AGOA. They pay to not have South Africans die of AIDS through their PEPFAR scheme. This is a vital partner of the country. Instead, when the new American administration under President Trump says, we don't like it when you do this and that, the government won't even hear them. The government says, to quote our president, you leave us alone, we'll leave you alone. Listen, I have to go and be nice to my bank manager, regardless of what I think. I have to be nice to my clients, and I don't like some of them. Why would a country think that they can behave poorly to somebody who's their biggest trading partner? It just makes no sense. Then on top of it, we think it's a good idea to send an American hater in Ibrahim Rasool to be our ambassador to the US. Like, this was just a match made in hell. Of course it was going to end up in tears, and it did. When he goes onto a webinar and he calls Donald Trump a supremacist. It was completely predictable. Then we go to the back, we go get more fuel, throw it on the fire by renaming Santon Drive Leila Khalid Drive. For those who've been living under a rock, she is an old Palestinian airplane hijacker. Became famous for being a woman, I suppose, because, hijackers aren't such a big deal, but that's it. Now we want to rename the road that houses the American consulate in Johannesburg. And they won't walk back from that. Now, there's one thing worse than bad leadership, and that is no leadership. If you're the president and leader of a party, you can tell people to fall in line. Much like a CEO of an organization can tell people to fall in line. But yet, President Ramaphosa will not lead. So his party's spinning out of control. This is after they suffered a huge loss at the polls last year. They will not fix any of the problems that were a problem. We've got a massive problem with service delivery and infrastructure. Even President Ramaphosa says Johannesburg is a disgrace. We are due to hold the G20 summit here. But no, everybody else in the party, who must be mad, says, we'll fix it up. Well, when? When? I think if everybody started to work now, we wouldn't be finished by the time the G20 summit happens. Have we gone mad? We're going to be putting South Africa and Johannesburg on show to the world. As this investment destination, they're going to come to Johannesburg and see this. Have we gone absolutely mad? Everybody complains about corruption. We spend R1 billion on a Zondo commission. He comes out with 5 big volumes. 80 people mentioned in the Zondo report are still sitting in Parliament. Nothing gets done about that. When you lose votes, understand how unhappy people are. But yet the madness continues. We then have a justice minister of all people, who in Minister Thembi Simelane, who does some creative stuff financially. Instead of doing anything about it, the president changes her from justice minister to send her to human settlements, which is housing for normal people, and gives her a bigger budget. I think we've gone completely and utterly mad. Other parties get sent a message. The DA, 20% party. Why? Because black people tell the party, we can't vote for you while you've got white leaders. Nah, the DA is not going to listen to them. It's going to stay at 20%. At a time when it could win more votes, just by doing what everybody else has been forced to do and what they've seen fit to do, and that is to change according to what your market wants. But we think that's a good idea. Have they gone mad? The MK party surprises everybody, comes third, and then immediately has an internal civil war, attracting a whole lot of people from other parties. These people aren't there because they like the ideology. They're there because they like the job. You've got Floyd Shivambu saying this party is now a Marxist, Leninist, Fanoniist party. You've got the the Zuma clan saying that, no, they're a Zulu royalist party. I think they've gone mad. EFF lost support in the last election. Julius Malema purges all the leadership of the party except for himself and doubles down on the policies that people didn't vote for last time. I think we've gone mad. We've had Gayton McKenzie on the show from the Patriotic Alliance saying that the PA stands with Israel. It's a video that got almost the most views on the State of the Nation. He then has a member in the Johannesburg legislature who then says the most anti-Semitic things you can imagine. Where do you stand? Have you gone mad? Who are you trying to attract? And so it goes on. South Africa has got a terrible problem. We need this economy to work. We need South Africa to become a better place for everybody to live in. We've got people dying of hunger, and this is all by choice. We choose to keep this economy as bad as it is. We choose to go past an act called the Expropriation Act and then spend a whole lot of money trying to explain to the world that what we've just passed, this Expropriation Act, isn't an Expropriation Act. Have we gone mad? Have we gone mad? How are you going to attract investment? How are you going to tell a foreigner who wants to open a factory in this country that his property is safe, when the law specifically that's just being passed says that the government can take it at any point in time if they perceive it to be in the national interest at null compensation. Would you invest in a country, buying a factory, buying a property, investing in that property, if you know that tomorrow somebody could decide, it's in the national interest, we'll take that away from you at null compensation? Yes, I know there's courts that you can go to. Would you do it? No, you wouldn't do it. You'd go to a country where those things are guaranteed, like South Africa used to be, right? Up until 3 months ago. Have we gone mad? Half the country lives on welfare. Half the country lives on welfare. We can't balance the budget. Why? Because we have to pay civil servants who are the highest paid civil servants in the world. If one looks at middle income countries like South Africa, we have to give them a way above inflation salary increase, which means that we have to raise taxes. So the Minister of Finance, who realizes that he's run out of taxes to raise, raises VAT, 2 percentage point raise in VAT. That's what he suggested. It's now down to 1%. Instead of asking civil servants to tighten their belts like the rest of us have to. Have we gone mad? At least the DA found some backbone and they say they're going to vote against it. Well, we'll wait and see when the time comes. But parties like the Patriotic Alliance said, no, they're going to vote for the VAT increase because it's not worth breaking up the GNU for a VAT increase. Go tell that to the poor person who has to pay more for their groceries. I think we've gone absolutely mad, and I think we deserve every bit of drama that's coming our way. In the middle of all of this drama, Nomvula Mokonyane, she's a real genius, posts pictures all over Twitter how the ANC is meeting with a delegation from Iran. We're under the Donald Trump, Elon Musk microscope. We think it's a good idea to have a delegation from Iran, not coming to see the government, that would be bad enough, but to see the ruling party. This is after the same ruling party thought it was a good idea to take Israel to the International Court of Justice. We are not the only country that has human rights or respects human rights, but we're the only country that is prepared to act against our national interest. Have we gone absolutely mad? How many people do we want to put on welfare? What is going to be the trigger point? If we can go past 50% without the government realizing that perhaps we should grow the economy, what's it going to take? 55%? 60%? 70%? Well, here's the news. We're already at the point where we can't pay for these social grants. We've crossed that point. We've maxed out the credit cards. We can't get any more loans. At some point, we've got to say, let's stop being mad. Let's only be half mad. Let's grow the economy. Let's do the right thing in the country. Let's arrest corrupt people. Let the police do their work or fire them. At some point, the penny has to drop, that you don't do things that piss off your biggest trading partners. At some point. But to a lot of people that say that this old white man's going to have chest pains, well, he's got chest pains. Because I cannot believe the lack of thought that goes into running this country. And we have to wait another 4 years plus for another general election to get rid of this. Everybody was sold the idea that the government of national unity was there to prevent a doomsday coalition. Well, I am going to tell you that a doomsday coalition couldn't have done worse than what this government of national unity is currently doing. There's not one indicator in their favor, and we better hold those people in the government of national unity to account for everything that has happened on their watch. They can't say, oh no, it was them. We were just bystanders. If you think they're doing a bad job, if you are with somebody and they decide to rob a bank, best you go and you leave very soon. Because otherwise you're going to end up being part of, complicit in that particular crime. I hope, like every other patriotic, free-thinking South African, that we start realizing that this is all being done by ourselves, to ourselves. We are choosing to be poor. We could choose to be rich tomorrow. But my Lord, we need this madness to end. The most sane thing that you can do is support Pace Car Rental. They keep us on the air. Come to our business breakfast with Gayton McKenzie and Frans Cronje on 16th of April, and subscribe to the State of the Nation channel. Thank you so much for joining us today.